Hello and welcome aboard. This is our session on the intuition amplifier. Now, I want to give you a quick formula to help you understand how this program actually assists you. Imagine that intuition is equal to signal over noise. And so what we have to deal with is the signal to noise ratio. If it's 1-to-1, if there's a bunch of noise in your environment and the signal coming from your inner mind is equal to that, you're in good shape. If the noise is greater than the signal, say 4-to-1, your intuition drops significantly to 1/4. If you can boost the signal to 2 or 3 times more powerful while also reducing the noise, excellent. That's what we're really going for. So think about intuition as your direct access to information that is being processed beyond your conscious mind's ability to perceive it. In other words, you're getting signals that are coming to you that are being processed by your sensory systems. But for whatever reason, your conscious mind can't really pay attention to it because it's busy trying to help you. It's got 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information that it's working with. The non-conscious mind's processing billions of bits of information per second. And what we have access to consciously is usually pretty limited. When you think of the concept of intuition, most people say, ooh, highly intuitive. That means extrasensory perception. And I say, no. Your sensory perceptions, your ability to perceive the environment is tremendous. The human eye and brain can perceive the smallest unit of energy of light that we can measure, 1 photon. It will register on your brain. But we don't necessarily pay attention to it because we have so much else going on and we're trying to focus while there's a lot of noise in our environment. So what we're heading to, what we're going to with the intuition amplifier is this concept that, what we have access to is brilliant information that will assist you in getting to the solutions that you need, the guidance that you want to get to the destinations that you desire. Historically, we think about our access to our intuitive self as being listening to that still, small voice within. Well, that would be called clairaudience, which is clear hearing. We also have clairvoyance, the ability to see clearly at highly perceptual levels, getting guidance from our inner vision. We also have clairsentience, which is a clear feeling sense. So while we have all these external senses of sight, sound, feeling, smell, and taste, we also have those corresponding internal sensory perceptions. Here's the thing that I ask you to do during the paraliminal listening. I ask you to remember a time when you had a very clear intuitive guidance. And how did that come to you? Did it come to you as a picture? Did it come to you as a voice, like somebody speaking to you, telling you where you should go and what you should do? Was it a gut level hunch, a feeling of some kind that helped you know where to go? Or maybe you perceived the situation, you went, ooh, this really stinks. Getting that olfactory and gustatory sensation that you shouldn't proceed in a particular direction. However it came to you, what I ask you then to do is notice, what was there just before that signal occurred to you at a conscious level? In other words, if you clearly saw that this was the way to go, what was the signal just before that? Here's the thing, is oftentimes what comes to us above the threshold of our conscious awareness is one of our favorite senses. But our intuition is that sensory experience just before the intuition came to us at a conscious level. So the signal reached a threshold where we could perceive it, but there was a subtler signal still. The intuition amplifier is helping us to reduce the noise and boost the signal. As you become a student of your own intuitive powers, you'll come to realize you have tremendous intuitive capabilities. You have the ability to transcend time and space. You have the ability to perceive information that would put you on par with the greatest psychics of the world. I think we're all born with it. The problem is, as we gain language and as we gain cognition and cognitive thinking and rational approaches, what happens is a lot of our intuition is marginalized. We begin to mistrust or distrust our intuitive signals. And when a thought occurs to us, the biggest question most people have is, how do I distinguish that sense from just my ego, my conscious mind desiring or wishing for it to happen? The only way to know that is by studying the ways in which those signals occur to you and noticing the response you made. For example, sometimes you'll have a strong intuition and you'll go against it. Things don't work out so well. Other times you'll have a strong signal, you'll go with it. It works out really cool. And you really desired that as an outcome. So was that me making it happen, or was it me tuning in and realizing the best way to go? So there are a lot of times that signals come to you. Notice them, own those signals, and play with them. What are the distinguishing characteristics that show that this was a signal from that pure intuitive faculty within you? For me, I can tell you, when it's a voice that occurs to me, there is a different quality of that internal voice. There's a calmness, there's an expansiveness, there's a metered, rhythmic, supportive kind of voice tone or quality to it. Whereas when I really want something or desire something, there's a sense of an urgency, an insistence that comes to it. And what I've discovered is that my intuition is rarely, if ever, insistent. I'll give you an example. My wife was driving home from a choir practice, and she got a signal as she was passing one exit to go take that exit and go to the grocery store. She thought to herself, I don't need anything at the grocery store. And she passed going past another exit, her interior voice said, you should stop and get a drink of water. She thought, I don't need a drink of water. What do I need a drink of water for? She goes to another turn off to where our gas station is. She said, and the voice said, you should stop here and get some gas. She looked at her gas gauge. I don't need any gas. Shortly thereafter, and only a couple of blocks from our home on the highway, a deer runs right into the side of our car, creates $1,500 worth of damage to the passenger door, or the back door on the driver's side. And she realized, you know what? If I had listened to that voice in any one of those 3 or 4 instances where it told me to stop, I would have missed that deer. So sometimes we'll get a signal, and that signal will just try its best to get us to do something, anything. And what we need to do is pause and ask, what is this signal for? What is it trying to communicate to me? So when you're getting insight in terms of a problem that needs to be solved or a direction that you need to go, take time to contemplate what that signal is. Now, some people say that it's spirit that's talking to us. And we could also say that, well, everything that is non-physical could be spirit. So is it spirit? If you have a belief in Holy Spirit and that Holy Spirit is guiding you, learn to distinguish it. Learn to listen in a way with a silent mind to what it is that's trying to be communicated. And what you'll discover is much more access to that rich intelligence that's always guiding you throughout the entire arc of your life as you live into the fullest expression of your potential. Now, different cultures experience the spiritual in different sensory systems. For example, in the African tradition, the rhythms and the movements, very kinesthetic. Spiritual it's very auditory. So the drum beats and the dancing, it's very auditory. In the Native American tradition, it's very visual. They'd go on vision quests. And in the European mindset or traditions, it's very kinesthetic. So for example, if I were to say, today, I saw God, you'd think, okay. If I said, today, I spoke with God, you go, all right, Paul. But if I say, today, I felt the presence of God, you go, oh, that's so cool. Because visual isn't necessarily the way we think about spiritual connection. Auditory, maybe not so much, but kinesthetic, yeah. That's where a person has their spiritual connection. Let me just say, it could come to you in any sensory system. Pay attention. Learn to listen to those signals. Reduce the noise so that you can have a clear, congruent communication and discover you have an ongoing correspondence with that divine presence that is the true self that you are. Have a spectacular day, and I'll see you in our next session. Thanks for being here.